This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
Feed me, meow, meow, meow.
Because of this podcast, I'm a gay icon.
I'm so hot. I'm so good looking. My salad dressing is amazing.
Like the internet at large, there are things you can do on the internet besides porn, but most of it's porn.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I'm Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
Well, it's been a while since we've recorded, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
What were you doing at the top of the show, Kurt? It looked like you were conducting. I saw your hands sort of moving in and out of frame just at the bottom.
I was playing the Christine McVie song, You've Got a Hold on Me.
Oh.
And I was rocking out.
Good song.
Yeah. You got a hold on me. Well, you guys must feel bad about that stuff you're saying about Princess Kate in the last show. And after we heard the news. And
Did we say anything bad?
said she has criticized her for having a $15 piece of cake in an airport. I might be getting some things mixed up.
I did not criticize her for having a $15 piece of cake.
Turns out she's having health issues. And
I may have criticized you for having a $15 piece of cake, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Okay, I guess it wasn't that bad.
When you come to the Abbey to visit us, you'll have a $15 piece of
I
cake.
don't think it's that expensive.
I'm going to be fleeced.
Yeah, I've never eaten cake there.
I haven't. I don't remember it being anywhere near $15. Now, granted, it's been a few years, but that still sounds high.
Okay. I bet if it was $15, Kurt would pay it.
Well, not necessarily. I'm can't be doing this all the time.
It's good looking cake, Kurt.
All right, we'll see. We also learned that, I learned in the last couple of weeks from watching this Nickelodeon documentary that Joanna Kearns and late Alan Thicke are dicks. They wrote letters of support of somebody who they should not have. This is what came out, and this is what came out in this documentary on Nickelodeon.
Did you watch the documentary, Jason?
No. I did not. I'm familiar with it, but I worked on a day on one of Dan Schneider's shows.
Really?
Yeah. I was on Victorious.
Oh, gosh. Because, I'm like a jaded old bitch. And even I was found it heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know why those people wrote the letters defending him. Basically, they wrote letters to the judge.
Weren't they at ABC at this? Because was head of the class on at the same time as Growing Pains?
Yeah, I think there was a year or two overlap there for sure.
Yeah.
So they were network friends.
Well, this wasn't Dan Schneider. They were writing it. It was that other guy, the Pickle Man, whatever his name was.
Yeah, because Dan Schneider was just a cast member back then. That's long before he started creating those shows.
No, we're talking about
that other guy worked on their set.
We're talking about there was a guy. It was another guy who worked on Dan Schneider's shows. He was kind of a friend of Dan Schneider, and he played he was an actor, but he was also a acting coach. But he was grooming. He was basically grooming the young man who was in the what is it called? Drake and something.
Drake and Josh.
Yeah. Drake is the guy. He kind of groomed him because, like I say, he was a young man. He wasn't even he wasn't even 18. I don't think.
No.
He was not. No.
And the guy. Yeah. And the guy was one of those annoying, he looked like one of those loudmouth annoying types that just you're shut up. He looked like one of those.
Right. And they said, but then people wrote letters to the judge, and they said, please, it wasn't his fault, or.
Yeah, and anytime I hear something like that where somebody's written on someone's behalf and that someone's behalf they've written on has clearly done some very heinous things, you hear about these people that defend Michael Jackson, and you hear about these people defending like Dan Schneider and this pickle guy, and I just wonder from the other side of it, they look at it as like, oh, I know this guy, he's my friend. I can't see this in my friend that they be capable of this type of behavior.
Right.
That could be it. I also think it's possible that there's somebody higher up in the entertainment industry who just kind of calls them up and says, look, this is what you're going to do.
But then when you think about it, on their set, who did they have on their set? Kirk Cameron. He was not going to try that shit with Kirk Cameron.
Wait, I think he gets things mixed up here. What?
Because the guy worked on Growing Pains as well.
He did? Oh, yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, it makes sense how he knew Alan Thicke and Joanna Kearns, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he did. So you knew he was not going to try that shit on Kirk Cameron.
Well, then you think, well, maybe he did. And you wonder, maybe there was, because also Leo DiCaprio was on that show for his season.
That's right. Yeah.
No, they showed a picture of him with Leo DiCaprio.
Right, they showed that. Yeah, they show footage where he was kind of acting. He was kind of handling him a little bit.
Yeah, they showed that.
Yeah.
And the guy, and I'm not saying that this is a reason, but the guy Drake, he was actually kind of vulnerable. Like he was from like a single parent household, that type of deal. So I'm sure that played into it too.
Which somebody who's a predator would pick up on all that stuff and take all that stuff into account.
For sure.
Yeah. That poor guy though, I'm talking about Drake. Messed. He's like still pretty messed up.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine. It's awful.
That was heartbreaking. And there, I guess the ratings did so well, and people were so they found it very informative. So they're actually going to have like another episode. They're going to film another episode with Drake. I read that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get Denise Richards from this movie on his ass.
Right. Yeah, get Denise Richards out there.
I gotta tell you, and we're gonna get into the movie, but I liked Denise Richards in this movie.
Oh, I like her playing a kind of a crazy villain. She was fun.
Yeah.
She worked hard. This isn't just some cameo.
She's like the lead in this, and she's got a great ability to just turn on crazy eyes.
Yes.
Like some people just perpetually have it. She doesn't, but she's able to do something with her face where like the eyes pop as crazy.
Yes. And there were times I kind of felt sorry for her.
Oh, I didn't feel sorry for her in the movie.
Just a couple of times. But we'll get into it. But yeah, I knew we were going to like this movie, but I was like, oh my God, this was actually fun to watch.
Yeah, I was going to watch it again. Like I was telling you guys, I couldn't get access to it, but I did see it. I do have notes.
Okay, well, before we get into that, we have a more important person to talk about. Kurt, do you have any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
This is from the U.S. Sun. Blac Chyna, this is also good, almost like a real estate report too. So Blac Chyna has taken out a second loan, takes out a second loan for $240,000 on her $3.8 million LA home after losing Kardashian legal battle and saying she's broke. Okay, so anyway, she's still living in her luxury home in Woodland Hills near Calabasas. But after quitting OnlyFans, she admitted to money troubles and took out a $2.6 million mortgage on the property early in 2023. Now, paperwork obtained by the U.S. Sun shows she borrowed another $241,695 with the lender listed as, okay, we don't need to know that. And anyway, this 15-page deed of trust document was signed by her, lists her address in Woodland Hills. It was signed December 19, 2023. The mom of two lives in the 8-bedroom, 9-bathroom home with her children, which she bought in 2018. The star's master bedroom has its own fireplace, private bathroom, walk-in closet, and a private patio with views of the pool. The home also boasts a spa, outside bathroom, I guess it's like an outhouse, covered patio, and landscaping, along with a 2-bed, 3-bath guest house for the star's visitors. Now, the kitchen has top-of-the-range stainless steel appliances, a center island, 6-burner stove, walk-in pantry, and marble countertops, according to Realtor. There's also a custom-built glass wine cellar, although Chyna is now more than a year sober after transforming her life. Now, she previously took out a big mortgage on her current home in February 2023, borrowing $2,630,000, which has to be paid back in full no later than March 1st, 2053.
Okay.
The lender, boy, it keeps going on. They get really specific about who the lenders are, the mortgage people. So she first got candid about her finances with TikTok star Mr. Lewis, who asked people on camera in the street how much they earn and what they do for a living. I've seen that guy. She told him in the clip from February 2023, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a mom, I own multiple businesses, I'm a TV personality. She declined to reveal how much she makes a year, but using her real name, admitted honestly, Angela White is broke, before winking at the camera. She then admitted she only has $3,000 in the bank. That's right, $3,000. But she says she has a credit score of 768. Asked if she has any investments, she replied, I mean, honestly, I just invested myself. Mr. Lewis presumed she was earning at least $10 million a year after success on the adult subscription site OnlyFans, but she admitted it was a lot less than that. So it goes on and on. So she does still run a hair business called Hart's Pure. She's got Lash Cosmetics. She's been getting thrifty. She made $170,000 from selling her old clothes, shoes, accessories. And that's it. She took a big hit from the Kardashians' legal situation. So keeps going on. She said I had to give up 3 of my cars. So she said yesterday I gave up 3 of my cars, my reasons, morals, beliefs, being a single mother, no support. I'm a mama, single, no support, child support. So a bunch of things that keeps kind of going on with that. And that's basically her financial situation and a lot of information about her house, which I thought was interesting. So $3.8 million buys a house like that. That sounds about right.
Yeah, for that area,
does she have?
Just the one, I think.
Cars? I don't know. I don't know why a person needs all that space. I never understood that. You know, you could probably get a house like that. Like, I don't even think there's the only house in New Jersey that would be like that would be like in North Jersey, probably somewhere. I think if you got a space like that, like South Jersey, it would be like $1 million less, maybe.
Well, I don't think anyone ever really needs that space, but they want the idea of it, its status, and its actual like equity. You know, you buy a big house like that, it's only going to keep going up in value, presumably. So you think if you buy something bigger, then the payoff would be bigger.
Well, you're paying a lot in property tax every year. I mean, I guess it doesn't get super cold there, does it? So you don't really have to. Would you have to heat your house much?
Not really.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about that.
Cooling in the summer, though.
Too much. Cooling. Yeah. Okay, that's going to cost money.
Yeah.
Maintenance.
You know,
anyway.
I wonder if she has a stripper pole room.
Might as well.
I bet she used to.
9 bathrooms.
Well, that's cool. So you never have to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blac Chyna eats a lot of fiber.
Right. Right.
So
if one gets stinky, you just go to another one.
She could do ads for Metamucil. Pay off some of these loans.
Right.
She could hire like production companies to do film shoots in her house. because they could shoot, like it could be like 9 different locations because you're using 9 different bathrooms.
Well, I genuinely think that's why some people buy these big houses, is so they can rent them out for production. It's sort of the lifetime business model. Like they use the same houses over and over again.
Maybe she could hire Zeus TV.
Zeus TV should hire her.
Yes.
Again.
Yeah, didn't they? Isn't that how we were aware of Zeus TV?
Because her mom,
I
was
think
it her mom had a show or Blac Chyna had a show in there? I forget.
They both had a show.
Okay.
They both had a show. But I think Blac Chyna is beyond. She's outgrown Zeus though, because then she went on to Wii.
Well, she was also on the show, a little more of a mainstream show. What was it? Oh, it was Special Forces World's Toughest Test.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a picture of her here in the water. It looks like she's in like a lake somewhere.
Is she wearing like a sexy Special Forces outfit?
Well, I wouldn't say it's sexy. It's some kind of big, like a black outfit. She looks like she's panicking.
Well, she probably is.
She's waist high in this lake.
Well, I'd be panicking too.
I wouldn't.
Like a dirty lake, you might get giardia or something.
I don't mind swimming in a lake. You might get what? Giardia.
Giardia. It's like when you drink dirty lake water.
God.
I don't know that I'd ever do that.
No, just swim in the lake and keep your mouth shut.
Maybe don't swim in the lake.
I'm sure she was worried about her lashes, because I'm sure she had lashes on.
Take a look at this
I'm
picture.
sure she had like a weave.
No, her hair looks very flat.
Okay, so
she took the weave out to jump in the lake. She knew.
I think she got completely in that lake, yeah.
Oh, see, why would you make Blac Chyna do something like that?
Because it's the premise of the show. It's a competition show. She signed up to do it.
There's probably little sea crabs in there biting her.
I know. How dare they?
It's problematic.
That's not right.
Oh, well. This is how she does it.
Anywho, well, I guess let's talk about this movie.
All right.
Killer Cheer Mom.
Lifetime.
Present.
And, this movie did not disappoint. They brought back some oldies but goodies. Chloroform made a comeback.
It did?
Yes.
Who was chloroformed?
Oh, yeah, she chloroformed, what's her name? Riley.
Oh, did she? After she hit what's his face? Okay.
Yeah.
I was taking notes in that moment. I didn't see that.
But I didn't know if Samantha had anything to do with this movie or not, but there were no black hoodies.
No black hoodies. I do like the black leather gloves, though. That was a nice touch.
Yes. And I liked her, jacket on when she was doing crime, like the black jacket.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I'm a badass, but a sexy one.
Right.
Right. Samantha's a costume person, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Samantha banned black hoodies on her
because she heard the show.
Because of us.
Yeah.
Because of us.
Yeah, she heard us talk about hoodies. Yeah, she stopped it.
I feel like that's their signature thing.
Yeah.
Lean into that. Everyone should have a black hoodie.
Everyone. I have one. I have 2.
Oh, I've got some hoodies around, of course.
Anyhow.
Got a red one.
And you know what else came back? The cold open.
Has it gone away?
Well, I don't know if it's gone away.
It's here.
I stumped you. You were like, wait, has it?
It came back as if it left.
It was gone for the entirety of the rest of the movie. And then it came back for the next movie.
Yeah, they have to have a beginning at the end. Sometimes they do that.
This movie, I would not be mad if we had a sequel of sorts.
Oh, and seeing her character like in a whole new life somewhere else?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Meeting a new man.
Although
She have like a new family.
she wasn't as delightfully cuckoo as like Eric Roberts in those Stalked by My Doctor movies, though. Like those, they can keep making them because he's just so over the top bonkers. It's really funny. Whereas this is like, she did some crime. It's pretty lame ones too.
Well, yeah, because there was an air of desperation around her.
For sure.
I was going through my notes too. These people eat in this movie. I mean, I do too.
Yeah.
It was just Easter, man. It's the day we're recording this the day after Easter. That means like half price Cadbury eggs, and it's a whole list of problems. But I'll tell you, these people are eating ice cream and big piles of waffles. At one point, they're dissecting a strawberry. Everything involves food with these people.
They ate so much in this movie, and I just kept asking, like, isn't this girl trying out for cheer? Like, should she be carbing up this much?
Oh, high on the carbs.
But she was, like, rehearsing her cheer routine every chance she got.
Yeah, but then, like, Denise Richards is making her spaghetti carbonara in, like, the middle of the afternoon, or spaghetti bolognese.
And this was like, this cheerleader squad was, like, being on the football team. They made them like jog, and
she gave her a waffle. It was as big as a Volkswagen Jetta. It's like, here you go. Burn this off.
By the way, did you guys recognize that kitchen?
No.
I'm not positive, but I'm about 85% sure that was the kitchen from Killer Contractor.
Well, it is part of the Killer. Yeah. This isn't the Killer universe.
Well, yeah, I mean, but with that oven with the fireball, that's the oven.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
but it does speak highly of that contractor. See, that the kitchen, still in use.
Yeah,
it's a fireball.
Oh, actually, there was fire in this movie too, because in the beginning, we see a cabin, and then we see a girl being drugged into the cabin, and she's tied up. We see someone pouring gas.
She didn't look too worried either. She looked very calm about this.
Yeah.
Because she was still getting over being chloroformed. So she was still probably groggy.
Still digesting all the pastries and stuff she ate. And that's where I am too.
So she's tied up. Yeah, so we see the person pouring gas. We see a lighter. We hear a scream and an explosion. And then we see 2 weeks earlier.
Wait, so that doesn't make any sense then, because there isn't an explosion. Because this is a scene that we pick back up later in the movie, so there's a time jump. There is no explosion.
Wasn't an explosion.
No, it just leaves it. It leaves it at that. They just pour the gas, and that's it.
Oh,
you scared me.
So 2 weeks early. So that's right. So the gas is poured, and the light. Well, there was a lighter.
There was a lighter, but I don't think we actually see a fire ignite, do we?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
2 weeks early. I wrote in my notes. I don't know if it says this is acceptable or this is acquittable. I guess it could be both.
So we're at a game. We're at a high school football game. We see cheerleaders. There's a lot of hair slinging and screaming and clapping.
And I will give them credit, because I've given Lifetime shit about this in the past. It looked like they actually hired a choreographer for the cheer team this time, because normally they do movies about cheer and the girls never have a routine for whatever they filmed that day. They actually had routines in this one.
Yeah, a lot of hair throwing.
Yeah,
that's good.
And then you see these two ladies, these two girls, Riley and Blair. And Riley is talking about how she used to be on the cheerleading squad in her old school, and
in
Blair
middle school, when she was in middle school.
And then the squad announces tryouts, And Blair turns to Riley and she's like, well, you should try out. And then we find out that Riley's new, and this is her first day in her new school, and Blair has been assigned to show her around.
Is it Blair or Claire?
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I thought it was Claire, and I was rating it as Claire the entire movie, and then later in the movie somebody called her Blair, and I'm like, oh, I must have gotten that wrong. But I heard Claire earlier in the movie too.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
So she's
Blair. I wrote Blair.
I'm gonna call her Blair Claire.
Blair Claire.
Blair Claire. Okay.
So,
Claire Blair.
But it was one of these situations you could tell, even though Blair Claire was like assigned to her, she liked her and they got along.
I liked Claire. I thought she was nice. Or Blair.
So they're walking down the hall, and then Riley's walking down the hall, and she bumps into this guy, and he drops his headphones on the floor. And, she apologizes. Oh, my gosh, I'm so clumsy, blah, 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 blah. And she picks him up, and she hears what he's listening to, and she's like, are you listening to The River? Oh, my God, that's my favorite.
The River? What, the Billy Joel had the River, right? It's like his last album. This was
no Billy Joel.
Are they listening to Billy Joel's song?
You think that these teenagers in suburban Chicago are like, we need to go into Billy Joel's back catalog right now?
I do. Then they're like, we gotta check out that orchestra music he did later on. Yeah, let's do it.
So we find out his name is Cooper, and Riley introduces herself, and then a jock bumps into him, or someone bumps into him. Yeah. And Riley was like, "That's rude," and he's like, "Well, they don't see us. They don't see me.
They're hanging with Mr. Cooper."
Right. Then they find out they're in the same biology class. And so then it's her first day, school's over, and then something happens that teenagers hate and are automatically mortified.
What's that?
Her mom shows up at school to pick her up. Now, her mom is Denise Richards, so I'm sure the guys wouldn't mind. But Riley tells Denise, who's actually her stepmom, that she's going to go to cheerleader tryouts. And Denise is trying to be encouraging, so she's like, oh, well, I bet you'd be good. But then Riley is like, why did you say that? Being like a sullen teen where you can't say anything right.
Yeah, Denise Richards, her character is named Amanda, and Amanda is very try-hard. She's really trying to win over Riley.
Right.
Yeah.
And Riley is not having it. So they're at tryouts, and at tryouts, it's announced that there are only 2 spots. And there's how many girls trying out?
6.
There's so 6 girls trying out, and there's only 2 spots.
Very competitive.
And then the coach, the cheerleading coach, is also like, and don't forget to turn in your medical approval form, signed by your parent.
And a girl gives her shade. She says, "Oh, you only cheered in medical school. You only cheered in middle school."
Imagine a medical school having, like, you're a surgeon and you're like doing a very complicated brain surgery, and like in the theater, you've got a cheer squad just screaming at the top of their lungs.
Go, go, go! Suture that wound. Go, go, go! Do those stitches. Now, okay, I don't blame the girl for giving her shade, though. Middle school, come on.
Well, come on, you know.
But that was okay.
Show some tact.
Because
high school girls are usually so sensitive they would say anything, give shade to anybody.
But Riley was a junior.
Yeah.
Because she talks about how she was moved in her junior year, and that was one of the reasons why she was so bitter. So we're talking like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
It's very understandable that she would be sort of like, not necessarily looked down upon, but people would question her bona fides in being able to be on the squad at this point in her high school life.
Yeah.
Okay. They can be diplomatic about it.
Because teenagers are nothing if not diplomatic at all times.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. But yeah, middle school. So it's like, oh, really? So you're bragging about what you did in like 7th grade? Gee.
Please.
So they also got like critiques. They got critiqued like pretty. This was a rough tryout.
These tryouts were insane. How many days of tryouts were they going to have for the cheer squad?
It seemed like it went on for like a month, even though it was only 2 weeks.
It's all football season.
And like jumping ahead to the end of the movie, they're still doing tryouts at the end of the movie after somebody who has been hospitalized is now out of the hospital with her leg in a cast when they thought she was going to die.
And they still were like, oh, well.
We have more tryouts scheduled.
There was no slack cut for that person either. Like, none.
No.
Like, oh, well, you're on crutches.
Yeah. She was on crutches, but in uniform. She was there in uniform.
Aren't there any boys too? Do boys? Do they work as cheerleaders in high schools?
Yeah,
not in this school.
It actually was surprising because this was a pretty contemporary feeling movie. It was odd that they didn't throw in like a token gay guy or something on the squad.
Right, and a lot of times the boys are like former gymnasts. And they're real, like it can do flips and tricks and
and they like to have the guys because they're just generally physically stronger, where they can do the lifts a little easier.
Yeah. So they're having dinner. So they're at home and it's dinner time. And her dad, Riley's dad, is Michael from Melrose Place.
Yes.
Did you see the exterior of this house? How many numbers were on this address? This was was like 266-16288-10379. I was just this vast. Almost the entire house was covered with these numbers. Is that the way it is in this? You said it was the
valley. There are a lot of there's houses that have a lot of numbers.
This was in Chicago, though, I think.
Oh, that's right.
I just figure it's a house on like Route 66 or some like long road where they really get high in the numbers.
It looked like a better neighborhood than living on Route 66.
Route 66 is Santa Monica Boulevard.
But there are no houses there.
Not really, no.
It should be.
Yeah, I love that it was Michael from Melrose Place. Although, as the dad here, was he on a lot of coke or a whole lot of coke?
He was on a whole lot of coke.
He was on a whole lot of coke in every scene, and it was amazing.
What an accusation to make.
He just had so much energy about everything.
Yes, that was like 3 lines. And then go out and say his line.
Feed him some carbs.
I'm not saying Thomas Calabro was on coke. I'm just saying the character of the dad was a heavy coke user, in my opinion.
Oh, the character.
Yeah, the character.
And it was so funny because he was definitely opposite from how Michael used to be on Melrose Place. Well, Michael was the evil one.
Michael was evil, but he was a fun evil. Like, he was a great villain on that show. And if you remember when the show first started, he wasn't a villain in that first season. His character was so boring. And then they made him a villain, and he was just relishing it.
Yeah.
I never watched that.
What? How dare you, Kirk?
Wow.
Get out.
Michael was married to Jane at first. And then he and Jane broke up. What did he end up with Sydney after Jane? Was he cheating on Jane with Sydney?
and then
then
he was
Kimberly.
cheating on Jane with Sydney, but then he ended up with Kimberly,
who was cuckoo bananas, an even bigger
Crazy
villain than
Kimberly.
he was. And if you've ever seen, even if you've never seen the show, you probably know the famous scene where she pulls off the wig and you realize she's got this big scar.
No,
Yes.
I don't know that scene.
How Kurt Fitzpatrick? Where were you in the 90s?
Pop culture.
I wasn't watching
canon.
Melrose Place. Why would I watch that?
It was a big deal. The scar on the head.
Because Heather Locklear then came on the show, and their ad campaign, it would come on Mondays, and their ad campaign was a big picture of Heather Locklear, and it said, "Mondays are a bitch."
I do know that she was on the show. I think Andrew Shue was on the show.
He
Is that
was.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Billy.
Yeah.
So I know that, but I didn't. I
Really?
never watched the show. I obviously remember the show's existence, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Well,
and Andrew
you-
Shue was in the news a lot last year because he was married to Amy Rohrbach, who was one of the two anchors from Good Morning America that got fired because they were having an affair, and so that ended his marriage.
Do you know that Andrew Shue is now dating T.J. Holmes' ex-wife?
Who's
For
TJ
real,
Holmes?
the guy that
Yes, I'm
that
totally
was
serious.
also fired.
I'm confused.
T.J. Holmes and
TJ
Amy Rohrbach were anchors at Good Morning America. I think the afternoon version of the show, and they were hiding their relationship, and then it got out in the news. And even though it wasn't against policy, basically ABC's like, this is a distraction. It's really bad. So you're both let go.
And she was married at the time.
She
Andrew
was
Shue.
married to Andrew Shue, and T.J. Holmes was married to a woman who's apparently dating Andrew Shue now. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they are a couple.
This is like an actual soap.
Yeah, you can Google that. They're currently, and they've been dating for a while now.
Yeah, it's like a TV show where there's just a limited amount of people, and they all have to date each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've been dating, I would say, for at least 6 months.
Well, okay, good.
So
I wish
there
them
you
the
go.
best. I wish them the best.
So,
worked
so
out.
now, didn't they have pasta and waffles?
Oh man, they're carbon up.
Oh, at this first meal, there was a big, huge plate of mashed potatoes.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't even see any proteins. Just all
And-
carbs.
They should have just poured flour down there.
And the entire family was the entire family was fit.
Yeah. Maybe they're
Denise
onto
was
something.
fit, the dad was fit, and the daughter was fit.
Yeah.
Well, they're running to the store to get the carbs, I guess. So it kind of evens itself out. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, like there wasn't even any dad paunch on the dad. He was in great shape too.
Waffles. Yeah, this is when they get into those waffles.
Yeah. So now we find out that tryouts didn't go so well, but then also we find out that the reason why they're in the suburb is because Amanda, Denise, convinced the dad to take a job in this place.
Yes.
And
we also
Riley's
find out that he remarried really quick after the wife died.
like really quick,
Yeah.
months.
And we find out that they met because she rear-ended the dad.
Ooh, it's kind of
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean with a car?
Well, I don't know. They never clarified. It could be what you were thinking, Kurt.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
know.
was-
Coke dad is into pegging.
I was thinking with a car.
And it was obvious.
That'd be an interesting way to meet, but yeah.
And they didn't say this, but it was obvious that the dad was getting it good.
Oh, yeah.
He was very happy.
That's great. Waffles during the day and
So
the waffles alone.
so
He's in
at
this
one
relationship for the waffles.
He's waffling. He better learn how to lean over the sink better. The dad. He's wearing a tie. That thing could fall in the garbage disposal. I put that in my notes.
Ooh, yeah.
Public service message.
Wear your tie better.
Well, you don't wear it. Don't wear a tie when you're washing dishes over the sink.
True. So, her dad, so the dad and Riley are having a conversation, and Riley's talking about how she hates it. And her dad tells her, listen, give it a chance. And why don't you give Amanda a chance? And listen, if give it 30 days. And if in a month you don't like it, then we'll reconsider everything and go back to and possibly go back to Chicago. Like, we'll talk.
Mm-hmm. And
so then Denise was doing what I like the most. She was eavesdropping, and she eavesdropped this entire movie.
Mm-hmm. It didn't place any hidden cameras.
No.
She feels like the type that should have.
Way.
Yeah.
She was a human hidden camera.
Yeah.
She was lurking.
She was always lurking.
And so he's like, give it a chance, give it a month. If you're still not happy in a month, we'll talk and we'll reassess. And Denise was not happy about this at all.
There are people good at snooping. I remember when I would do like a show, we'd be backstage. If I didn't want someone can't be peeking out to see the audience. It looks unprofessional. But there was somebody who could do it. There was somebody who went to go peek out, and I said, I got no problem with him doing it. He's such a slippery little weasel. No one's gonna spot him peeking out the camera, peeking out the curtain. And I hope he's not listening.
Call it anyone by name.
It's true. His name's Weasel.
His name is Weasel.
His name is Weasel.
No.
So the next day, Riley goes to science class, and the science teacher, who's obviously over it, tells everybody, look, I'm assigning you your partners because it's just, you guys are just too out of hand with picking your partners. So I'm just going to pick them, and your partner's going to be your partner for the rest of the semester.
It's whoever you're sitting next to. It's easy enough.
That's how they did it where I went to school. Like, I didn't have a choice. It was just like, oh, you're literally alphabetical next to me in the alphabet. Okay, we sit next to each other. We're partners now.
No, that's what I had to do. I called this girl out. I called my lab partner out recently on Facebook. I said, you wouldn't dissect the frog. She sat there and pretended she was ill.
And made you do it?
Yeah, I had to do all the work.
And she got the credit?
I guess she did, yeah. She was.
I don't know why teachers still do group projects.
I think it's a means of trying to get people to realize that teamwork is beneficial in many aspects of the workplace.
Teamwork is bullshit. that there are writing teams out there where one person's coming up with all the other ideas and the other person is typing.
Right? like, because you always know in your school project there's going to be one asshole who's not going to do the assignment.
Yeah.
And bring everybody else's grade down.
Yeah. For teamwork.
But so we find out Riley's lab partner is Cooper, the boy with the headphones.
Cooper.
Who Cooper looked like he was 30.
He doesn't want to dissect anything. He's a pacifist.
Yeah.
No worms.
Cooper looked like he was long done with high school.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd put him at 30, but definitely looked older. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing some
cute, though.
Postgraduate work.
Oh, no, Cooper was cute.
Could you enroll in high school I've heard of people doing this. Like, is there like an age discrimination thing? Like, let's say I never finished high school. Could I go back? Could I enroll in a high school?
They have adult schools, though.
Yeah, but there's like movies and shit where people.
Yeah, but it's always it's always a comedy, and it's always like they're posing as a high school age. I don't think it's a real thing where like a 70-year-old could be in class with a bunch of teenagers, because then you're dealing with like potential like child molestation.
Well, like on that Drew Barrymore movie where she went back to high school and David Arquette played her brother. There were quite a few little crimes going on there.
Oh yeah.
You lay off Drew Barrymore.
No, but David Arquette was playing her brother and dating.
Huh? Who's he dating?
He was dating.
High school?
Yeah.
People in the high school. Oh, well, I was just curious about that. I have heard stories.
And then became the coach at the end. And a coach, and he had a coach with no degree.
You just go back to high school, like older, would just like to throw off the whole school. The kids would just be like, what's going on? This is weird.
It would be a weird
you
vibe at any class. Like, I remember being in college and there were people that were quite a bit older than us in classes, and it always felt like I felt weird for them.
Uh-huh. Now, did you guys ever see that documentary? And it was set in England, and it was about a high school student, and he said that, like, he was living with his grandma because his parents died, and he went all 4 years of high school with these kids, and it turned out that he was, like, in his 40s. And actually, the woman who he said was his grandma was his mother. And he went through and got away with it.
How does nobody find, like, nobody in his life knows where he's going every day?
No. Well, his mom covered for him because he would bring people home to, like, hang out and stuff. And the mom covered for him.
I'm more concerned about what's going on with the mom than I am with him.
She ended up dying, though. Yeah. But yeah, and they showed a picture of the guy, and it's like, this guy looked like a 40-year. Yeah. And then it was in England, so, you know, people age differently there anyway.
That is true.
You better be careful.
Oh. So.
You live with an Englishman.
So Riley is at school, and she turns around, and, like, Denise is there. Like, Denise is always at the school.
Yeah, like, her first appearance is, like, they're doing the tryouts, like, day 20 of 500, and looks up at the stand, and Amanda is there. She's the only one in the stands. It's like a scene from a horror movie.
Yeah. So then this is another scene, like, Riley walks out into the hall, and like, Amanda's there.
But, like, it follows. Yeah. She's it. She keeps following.
Mm-hmm. And then Amanda goes, and you can tell that the coach is, like, the cheer coach is annoyed, like, oh God, here we go again, another mom. Because she goes up and she's asking her questions and trying to, like, pump her for information, and the coach isn't biting.
Mm-hmm.
But the coach does tell her that that Riley has a good work ethic. So one of the other girls is doing really well, and that gets pointed out to Denise, Amanda, and Amanda gives her a very evil, menacing look.
Yeah. We find out that this other girl has gone to Allstate. She's kind of the one that sets the bar for anyone getting on the team.
So then that night, Riley's practicing in her room. Her dad looks in and sees her practicing. And then they're in bed in the middle of the night. And Amanda wakes up. She goes. She knocks back some wine. Mm-hmm. And then she gets a text saying that her payment is overdue.
Yeah, hey, Mallory, not Amanda. I haven't seen you in a while. And so we don't really know who this is texting her and who Mallory is, but now you're like, oh, Amanda must have an alter ego
named Mallory. So then, so the next day, we see Riley and Blair. They're having lunch, and Riley's sore because this cheerleading tryout is, like, working her to the bone. And then Cooper walks by and gives Riley a wave, and Blair's like, "Oh, you like him, huh? Ooh, look at you." And then Riley turns around, and guess who's in the cafeteria? Amanda.
Yep. She made cookies for the PTA.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they need cookies? This is where I write that she needs a job. She's looking for things to do.
But Kurt, would you have taken the cookies?
Yes.
The cookies were for a PTA bake sale, though. What I did think was funny about this is they wouldn't have the PTA bake sale in the school that they're trying to benefit, would they? Wouldn't you do that at, like, a grocery store or something? Which is like randos walking by?
Well, you would have it at school, but you would have it, like, you'd sell it to the other students. I could see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just seems like if you're trying to raise money for the PTA, you go somewhere where there might be people with money, like adults.
Yeah, but this is kind of like a lot of times they keep it. They either like sell stuff like at games, like after school.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Like during lunch when the kids are like as a snack or something.
Yeah, or if there's some sort of like book fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah,
so,
I'd buy a cookie.
So yeah, but then Riley's like, why the hell is she here? She's always here. What's going like? Riley's like echoing Kurt, like, get a job. Why is she here?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And, we've all known people like this. Like they, for whatever reason, they don't have a job, but they want to have a job. They just want to have a job. And so there's something like somebody prevents them from getting a job, but they're creating activities. But they're volunteering incessantly.
Oh, yes. We know. Oh, yes.
I can't
we
stop.
do know someone.
Yeah, I am thinking of someone specifically.
Yes, and I think we're thinking of the same person.
Yeah, we are. But I'm going to be nice. I didn't mean to make it so clear.
Yes, I wondered about that person for years. But anyway.
Yeah. They need a job. Give them a job. Or her a job. They love to work. They love to work. Let them work. All right. Let's continue.
So then Amanda is like talking to the cheer coach again.
Buttering her up.
And then she's kind of skulking around. She's skulking around, and then she's lurking, and then the coach is in her office, but she leaves her office. Mm-hmm. And so then Amanda goes into the coach's office, and she finds one of the physical form, and then she starts writing stuff. And,
what does she write? Like stuff. She writes like stuff, insulting things towards this person has one arm.
Right.
She is missing a brain stem. She will explode upon impact if the heat gets up to 80 degrees.
See, that would be something I'd want to see.
Signed the doctor.
See, I'd want to see that, though. I'd want to see someone like blow up while cheering.
Oh, man, Honest and Scanners. I don't know about that.
Okay, so then we cut to the science class, and
dissecting a strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they're dissecting a strawberry.
We wonder why our educational system is in bad shape.
They had to smash it in a Ziploc bag. I don't quite understand what they were doing with the strawberry.
I don't know. Next week they're dissecting an orange.
I think that maybe the props person for this movie was supposed to get them a live frog, but then they ran afoul of PETA somehow. So I don't have anything else that they could do. They have strawberries at craft services today. Can you use those?
Well, what about Nutter Butters? They could dissect that. No, we want to eat the Nutter Butters. Take those strawberries.
Don't take the strawberries. I was going to make a smoothie.
Let's see that or the blueberries. Oh, and they're tough to dissect.
Right, because they're so little.
I think they just didn't want to gross people out with frogs and worms. So,
maybe. Lifetime is worried about grossing someone out.
Yeah,
I don't think it's grossing out. I think it probably was some sort of like animal rights thing. Like if they would show that, they probably need to, run it by certain organizations, and probably thought it was too much work to do that.
Strawberries have no rights.
No. You're a strawberry, you are
Yeah.
fucked.
Woo!
So they're there, and
2024 is a rough year. Okay.
Riley finds out Cooper's last name.
What is it?
Was it Warner or
Cooper Warner?
I don't remember what it was, but it was in finding that out she realized that Cooper is the brother of the captain of the cheer squad, Chloe.
yes?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what we need to know.
And it's so funny because they are like polar opposites. Because he's like he's anti-cheer and sports, and he's related to the captain of the cheer team.
Yeah.
So he says that he doesn't want to be known as Chloe's brother. He wants to be known as himself.
As Cooper Warner.
He says, I want to be known as the guy who has good taste in music. And
Billy Joel song? Oh, all right.
so then we're back at the tryouts, and someone asks for help with a leg extension. Now these cheerleaders are actually, for cheerleaders, they're very nice.
Yeah.
A leg extension?
Yes.
Yeah. It was a move. Like they had to do a kick in the air, but you want to get an extra eye.
Oh, okay.
So then the girl who was like a shoo-in to be picked
D.
because she won like state champion at her old school. The coach, first she's teaching them a trick, and they're like, "Oh my God, her name was D."
Yeah.
And she does some trick, and they're like, "Oh my God, D, you are so cool." And everybody, it's obvious that D's going to be picked.
They even tell her as
loves
much. They tell her that she's got one of the slots.
Yeah.
In front of the other girls that are
Really?
trying out. It's kind of shitty.
So
Other girls go home.
So then the coach shows up, though, and the coach is like, D, you aren't going to be able to join the squad because your doctor says that you have severe asthma. And D's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean severe asthma? No, I don't. And so the coach is like, well, let's go call your doctor. And so, oh, that's right. So then, yeah, this is where she's like, one spot is for D, yeah, and one spot's up for grabs. And then they're doing like conditioning exercises. And then Amanda shows up and she just starts asking more questions but basically bugging them.
Yeah.
And they tell her that there's one open spot, and then someone says, I wish there were a few more open spots. And then Amanda says, well, you never know what can happen.
Well, she was also like fishing for information from Riley in this moment to find out if like D was at practice. Basically wanted to find out if her plan worked, and finds out that like they called the doctor and immediately cleared things up, so it kind of backfired.
Right, because doctor's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, you don't have asthma.
So if she was really sneaky, she would have like hid in the doctor's office. So when the phone rang, she'd like reach up and like grab the phone and pretend she's the doctor. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, she's up. No, she's got to whisper because she's hiding in there. Yes, she's got asthma. Don't call back.
Goodbye. So then we see Amanda going into an office, and she goes into Dr. Schaefer's office, who is a therapist. And he's like, oh my gosh, Mallory, I've been trying to get in touch with you for months. I've been worried about you.
He's the one that texted earlier.
Yeah. And so Amanda is like, oh, well, actually, I've moved on and I have like a new lease on life.
She says her heart
And
is healed.
Yes.
Oh yeah, heart is healed.
And so we find out that she lost her spouse, or she lost someone.
She lost someone she was in love with, for sure.
Yeah. And so then she tells the therapist, hey, can I get my file? And I guess if you ask your therapist for your files, they have to give it to you.
Yeah. But she really did that just as a distraction to get him out of the room.
Yeah.
Therapists have files on people?
No, he said he doesn't. He's like, everything's digital now. And she's like, oh, I'll take a printout. So he had to go leave the room to print it out. So she had time to snoop.
So not only does she snoop, she steals prescription pads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he gives her files. And he's like, Mallory, if you ever need me, the door is always open. You can always come back.
And she said, you mean it's unlocked? It's always unlocked too? Says no.
So then they're having a book drive. Oh, so then Denise, she's back at school again, but this time she's like, oh, we're having a book drive. And she's putting up like book drive posters.
It's the PTA book drive.
Yeah. Right. And so
once at the end of the day, they're going to burn all the books.
This PTA is very active.
I know. They're eating, reading. What's next?
So then one of the cheerleaders is walking down the hall, and then Amanda bumps into her, and the cheerleader drops her purse on the ground, and Amanda's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, and helps her pick up her stuff, but then sneaks a bottle of pills into her bag.
Yeah.
So then we're back at cheer tryouts again, and Riley does moves, and she's getting more critiques. And there's like, well, you're good, it's good, but we still have some work to do.
And we only have 47 more weeks to get this down.
Yeah. Right. So then the teacher, the cheer coach and the principal show up, and he goes to the cheerleader and he's like, I need to check your bag because there was an anonymous tip that you have drugs. And the cheerleader's like, I'm not going to let you go through my bag. You got to you need permission for that.
Yeah.
And I do like that the cheerleader was very sassy back to him. And so then he looks in her bag. Oh, because the coach also is like, you know what? Just let him go through the bag. And then the girl is like, well, I don't have anything to hide anyway, so just go ahead and look through it. And he finds drugs. Mm-hmm. Oh, the performance enhancing drug.
Yes.
Oh.
And then the girl is like, well, I'm going to talk to my father about this. And this isn't the last, this isn't the last you've heard of me.
But she's suspended.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Out.
But then later, what I like about this movie is these kids were dumb because the kids were like, you know what? That doesn't sound like her. Chloe's like, we've been friends for a long time. I think there was drugs planted on her. And even Riley's telling that to Blair, like everybody thinks that drugs were planted on her. That just didn't sound like her.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, Amanda's eavesdropping. But, okay, everybody, listen to me. When you are eavesdropping, put your phone on silent.
Yeah.
Because Amanda was eavesdropping, and then she got a text, and it made a noise. So
immediately it tipped off that she was outside the door, so she had to make up a story as to why she was right outside the door where Riley and Claire are talking. Claire.
Right. So then we're back at science class. We're back in biology class again. Cooper and Riley get their paper back. They get an A for their strawberry dissection. They get an A. So then Cooper and Riley are like, oh my gosh, we're such a great team. Let's study together. And then we cut to Amanda, and she's on the computer. And then we cut to the dad asks, "Where's Riley?" And he's just happy that Riley's making friends.
Yeah.
And then he asks Amanda what she's doing, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just brushing up on my editing skills.
My video editing skills so I can make highlight reels of Riley when she makes the squad."
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is the part where he should have been like, honey, shouldn't you be out getting a job?
Also, are there like a bunch of apps on your phone that make that real easy now?
Right.
Yeah,
It is
she's a
2024.
She's a regular Jennifer Lame.
Who's that?
She just won the Oscar for editing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oppenheimer.
I mean, they did like imply that she was doing this editing on like a regular computer, so I'm just picturing like Denise Richards is just in Final Cut Pro and just moving stuff around, or Pro Tools or something.
And she's dressed like that Bond movie where she played like a scientist.
Yeah.
So
she's smart about it though. She's sitting there like, how do they edit Battleship Potemkin? Oh, now I remember. I gotta hit this beat here.
So in that Bond movie where she played a scientist, she was like Denise Richards, but her hair was just up to show that she was smart.
How did Wells edit The Magnificent Ambersons? No, that's right. His editing control was taken away from him. Bad example. I've got to think more.
I mean, Coke Dad should have been suspicious when he walked in the room. In addition to her being at the computer editing, she had an entire like green screen set up, and somebody in the corner doing motion capture.
Who the fuck did I marry? Peter Bogdanovich?
And then he'd be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
He's like, "Why is there a tennis ball hanging from the ceiling?"
He rips off her mask that she's actually Quentin Tarantino, and then he realizes why she was so much into feet. Oh man.
And even more disturbing, there are striking actors outside their house.
Right.
They didn't hear the strike was over?
No.
It's a whole different strike, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're at Cooper's house, and Chloe's there, and Cooper made cookies for her.
With the cookies.
I know, right? The people in this movie had very healthy appetites.
Oh, wait, who made the cookies? Cooper?
Cooper made them, yeah.
All right. I'm glad they're showing more men baking, because I like to bake myself.
But this movie was all about the sweets and the carbs, but when it came to healthy things like fruit, they're like, fuck this, and they're just smashing it.
Right.
Dissecting it like it's something that's dead. Like strawberry never stood a chance.
So then Chloe comes in and is like, the sister, what's going on? And they start, and so she is actually happy that Riley's there. She likes Riley. And so they start talking about cheerleading, and then Riley's like, well, hey, Cooper, would you mind if we went and did a couple of moves and practiced a couple of things? So basically his sister cock blocked him. Ooh. By cheer clock blocking.
Yeah. Although she doesn't, that's a clam jam.
Yeah.
A clam jam?
Yeah. Well, she's blocking the cock with her clam.
Jesus Christ. You said it, not me. I'm off the hook.
Carry on.
So then Riley, so the next day, Riley's talking to Blair, and this video pops up, and it's a video of two other cheerleaders. Actually, it's another cheerleader and the cheerleader who was busted for drugs, and it shows them drinking.
Yeah, Tiana and Ariel.
Yeah. And so these kids are like, I like it. Once again, I love these kids are smart, because these kids are like, this is fake. And they're not buying it. But the adults, of course, are like, yeah, this is real. And So the next day, the cheer teacher is like yelling at the squad. And then Chloe, the head cheerleader, is like, you know what? Something's not right about this. I believe them. I've known these girls for my entire life, and drinking and partying just does not sound like that. And having drugs, like, this just does not sound right.
Yeah, things have gotten out of control. Seemingly.
Yeah. So these two girls are kicked off of the team. And the teacher says, you know what? Sometimes people are just crying out for help, and you don't know it.
No, I think that's what Amanda says to Riley when she makes her spaghetti bolognese.
Oh, that's
Bolognese. Right. Yeah. More carbs.
And then she tells her the story about her. She had a partner who died.
Named Tim.
Yeah.
Tim.
He took his own life. And Riley actually is starting to soften. This story makes Riley actually kind of soften towards Amanda.
She grabs Amanda's hand.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Amanda's like, you know, we only know what people let us know, so you never know if somebody's going through something.
And then Cooper stops by.
Mm-hmm.
And Amanda is not happy about this.
She says this may lead to heartbreak.
Yep.
It was weird because she at first seemed bothered by it, but then she was on board with it. I think she was just trying to check out whether this guy was going to be a problem or not.
Yeah.
And he showed up to take Riley to ice cream after she just ate spaghetti bolognese.
Man,
right. And she went.
Yeah.
And she ate ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had nights like that.
Same.
Nights plural. Sure. That sounds pretty good to me.
Mm-hmm. And he likes ice cream so much, he's going to get an ice cream tattoo. Now, Kurt, would you get a cake tattoo?
I'd like to get a tattoo, but I can't decide what it would be. I've never been able to arrive at that.
Same.
A cookie?
Not a cookie.
Cupcake?
Maybe.
Like a bunt cake?
No. Definitely not. I don't know.
A flan?
I just haven't come up with anything.
Get a tattoo of a flan.
A flan?
Yeah.
No, I have no attachment to flan.
You would if it were tattooed on you.
A tattoo. Well, man, I just feel weird getting a tattoo. Like, what if I change my mind about it? You know, I'd always have to look at it, unless I guess it's on my back.
Oh, so then Riley says,
Wait. We almost glazed over that. Are you saying, Kurt, that really the only way now that you could get a tattoo is if it were a tramp stamp?
Ooh.
Yeah.
You were saying you would get it on your back.
Well, then I would have to look at it. So
Okay.
if I
would it be lower back or upper back?
Well, lower back because it's like a
So it is a tramp
It's a tramp stamp.
But
Okay.
I could also give myself wings. So now, okay, this is good. We're coming up with some ideas. I like this.
Get wings and then talons holding onto a piece of cake.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and the cake would serve as a tramp stamp. Okay.
What kind of cake? Would it be like chocolate cake, or would it be like
Maybe red
strawberry
velvet
cake? Oh, so like red velvet?
I think so, yeah.
It could be strawberry, which is why they were smashing them earlier in the movie. Okay. This makes sense now.
Full circle. Be a strawberry.
So Riley says that she would get a Daisy tattoo because that was her dead mom's name, Daisy.
I see
That's a little more simple.
And then she goes into the story of how her dad met Amanda, which, like we said earlier, Amanda rear-ended him.
He probably had a nice tramp stamp too.
Man, that sounds wrong.
So then, they
At the same
kiss.
time. Well, after being rear-ended, I hope You deserve a kiss.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, for God's sake. It's just some sensitivity.
So Riley's doing a routine and she's improving, and the coach is like, "Oh my gosh, you're doing good. Good job. I can see that you're really putting work into this."
After there's 4 people left, you're starting to look good.
Yeah.
And then Chloe then tells Riley her theory that these girls were all set up. And she thinks something's up. This doesn't sound right. These girls were set up. So Chloe gives Riley a ride home. And then, of course, Amanda is there being annoying. And she's like, "Oh, you got a ride home from the cheer captain. That's a good sign." And then they start talking about the problems that the squad has been having. And then Chloe says to Amanda, "This just isn't right. Something's not right about this. These girls are being set up." And then Amanda got to look like, "Uh-oh, I'm going to have to take this one out too." Because...
Well, yeah, Amanda invited them in to make smoothies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet those smoothies were good too.
Yeah, and they got something called Gucci berries?
Goji berries.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's not a strawberry.
I don't know.
They didn't have any of those left.
Goji berries are expensive.
Well, I paid $15 for a piece of cake. I guess I could shell out money for a Gucci berry once in a while.
Yeah, goji berry smoothies. So,
All right.
so Amanda leaves to go make the smoothies, and Chloe looks at Riley and she's like, your stepmom's a little much.
She's missing a hinge or two. Does she defend her, though? Did she say, look, she's had a hard time?
Well, Denise is eavesdropping. Amanda's eavesdropping.
Yeah.
And then Riley asks, "Well, do you think that they're going to be able to come back to the squad?" And Amanda's eavesdropping, and then I guess these smoothies were good because Chloe's leaving, and Amanda's like, "Hey, I've got some extra smoothie. Here's one for the road."
Yeah. She's like,
and it must have been good because as Chloe's driving, she's drinking it. So it must have been good. And
she's got to keep her energy up before her next meal.
Right. And then...
Get used to a liquid diet.
Well, yeah, because Chloe realizes her brakes are cut.
How did she not realize that when she was backing out of the driveway?
Right? Because that's true. She did back out of the driveway.
Yeah.
Who did I meet? I met somebody doing Fringe festivals where she had a car that she couldn't go in reverse in. she talked about it in a show, and I said after the show, I said, "Were you telling the truth? You really had a car you couldn't go reverse?" And she said, "Yeah."
How do you park?
So how did she?
She explained it to me. It was like maybe it was her boyfriend had it, but I think she did have it. She had a car that couldn't go in reverse.
Like, how do you park?
I don't. She did explain to me how she did it, but it was a really weird situation. Boy, I bet that car would pass inspection.
And what if like someone parked too close to the front of your car?
I don't know what she could do. I would assume she didn't live in an extremely well populated area. Pull this off.
Oh, so Chloe crashed into a telephone pole.
Yeah.
And then
I would crash too if I was listening to whatever music that was. That was bad.
Was it the river or whatever?
I don't think she was listening to the Billy Joel album. No, it was.
Is that the song? It's the river of the night.
It's called the River of Dreams. Yeah, but that's in the middle of the night is the lyric.
In the middle of the night, I crashed into a telephone pole. Yeah, well, it's too bad.
So they're at the hospital. Cooper's there. Riley shows up. Cooper says that Chloe could be paralyzed. She's going into surgery. And then Detective Sanchez shows up. And I like that her acting choice was that she just had a deep voice. That was like a choice. That was her character choice.
Yeah.
And Detective Sanchez was investigating.
You sound like Max from Heart to Heart. I'm Max. That's my boss, Mr. Hart.
It's Miss H.
He's
She's
loaded.
gorgeous.
I
Her
tried
name,
that.
it was murder. So then she looks at but Detective Sanchez is a bitch because Chloe shows up like to help her friend and support her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And Detective Sanchez looks at her and is like, "Oh, you're on the team. Well, you need to show up at the police station with a parent."
Mm-hmm.
And then she basically tells her, so then she's like, yeah, Chloe's brakes malfunctioned and you're a suspect since you just showed up at the hospital. And then Cooper looks at Riley and like turns on her too and is like, get out of here.
That's
Riley
wrong.
was dumb in saying anything without an adult present.
Right. Or lawyer.
Yeah. She's
That's
under
where-
18. Because anything she
not
would,
everybody
and
knows
frankly, the detective was dumb to listen to her too, because anything she says in that meeting isn't going to hold up in court.
Right. Because it's all hearsay.
Yeah.
So, and then she just comes out and asks her, the detective's like, did you do this? Did you have something to do with this? Which is like, that's pretty dumb.
Right.
Because like Riley's going to say, because even if Riley did do something, like she was going to say, oh yeah, I cut her brake. Detective. So everybody, so Cooper's a dick. The detective Sanchez, she's a dick. The next day, Riley goes to school. All the school people are dicks because everyone's giving Riley a dirty look.
Wait a minute. So could you theoretically say you dick?
Yeah.
So
You dick! Exactly.
had the wrong
Detective
button there for a
Sanchez.
second.
Detective Sanchez, she asked me if I would cut her a break. So I literally did it. Ow!
You dick!
Oh, man. I deserve it.
So everybody's giving Riley a dirty look. And then
Knows it.
Blair shows up and like helps her. Blair's like a good friend. So Blair basically looks at everybody's like, shut up!
She doesn't mind being ostracized.
No.
Well, because nobody knows her name.
No, Claire.
Half the school thinks
That
her name
Blair
is
is-
Blair, half thinks it's Claire.
That Blair is a real C word.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So then
Like
Blair
Claire's
helps
okay.
her. And they go to the lunch table. And then Riley's like, well, Blair, you believe me, right? And then Blair like gives her a weird look. And then Riley's like, you too? All of you suck.
Everyone's a disappointment.
So then she goes home and she tells Amanda what happened. And Amanda gets this like fake, like, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, is she okay? She gets like one of those looks on her face. And then she's like, well, what about tryouts? And Riley's like, really? Come on. Really? You're worried about tryouts right now. My friend could be dead.
Yeah.
And then, the dad, Coke dad's like, well, maybe we should get a lawyer.
Yeah. Let's carb up and
then-
call some.
Right. And then Amanda's like, well, I'll take care of it. But then Amanda goes to the police station. And when Amanda drives away, Riley looks down at the driveway and she thinks it's brake fluid.
Yeah. There's like a little puddle on the driveway.
Yeah. So then Amanda is basically just staking out the police station.
Yeah. Sticky
She's
out
not doing
Detective
that.
Sanchez.
Yeah. So then Detective Sanchez comes out of the police station. Amanda follows her. And then meanwhile, Riley is Googling what does brake fluid smell like and finds her info. So then Amanda follows Detective Sanchez to a senior citizen home where Detective Sanchez's mom is there. So then Amanda puts on a pair of gloves and starts writing a note and puts the note on Detective Sanchez's car.
Detective Sanchez, by the way, didn't close the windows to her car.
Well, you know, I'm a detective. So if someone breaks into my car, I can go and find him.
When I worked for Mr. Hart, he had a convertible. Never put the top down.
The freeway would always get in there.
With the dog. Oh my god, I forgot about Freeway.
Who's Freeway?
The dog.
The dog.
In Heart to Heart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I watched Heart to Heart.
So, so Riley's in the cafeteria, and no one talks to her. No one wants to eat with her. But then Blair shows up, and Riley is like, okay, Blair, I need your help. And Blair's like, okay, sure. And then Riley's like, I need you to drive me to Chicago. And Blair's like, well, okay, but not, I wanted to help, but not that. Then we find out that Blair's really smart. Because Blair's like, well, I can't because I've got a robotics competition at 3:00 here at school.
Ooh.
And we should say the reason that she wanted to go to Chicago is when she was Googling what does brake fluid smell like. She also looked up this guy, Tim, that Amanda had talked about, found out that Tim died in a car crash. They deemed it suicide, and he left behind a wife and 2 kids.
Yeah. And also, Blair wasn't that smart. She thought that she was talking about the band Chicago.
Yeah.
So,
well, Blair Claire is not a fan of Chicago without Peter Cetera, so she wasn't going to go see that nonsense.
She had robots to build.
Yeah.
you know the people who were in Chicago? I don't know the...
Peter Cetera was the lead singer for many years and then left, and then they had several hits after he left.
I don't know the minutia of it.
No, Peter Cetera was a big star in the 80s.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Look, everybody's talking at once about Chicago. This has got everybody excited.
Yeah. Have you not seen the Karate Kid Part 2 and the what's that song?
You're the
what's the I am a man who will fight for your honor. What's that song? The Glory of Love.
Are you telling us that?
Yes.
Did you ever see the interview with Shelley Duvall? Shelley Duvall is like, she's like mentally ill. It's kind of sad, but Dr. Phil is interviewing her, and she's just saying these random things, and she goes, and I'm not saying Bette Midler's a whore, and I'm not saying the band Chicago is a whore.
Wait, she said they were a whore?
She said
no. She said she's not saying
that.
She keeps talking, and she goes, and I'm not saying Bette Midler's a whore, and I'm not saying the band Chicago.
Did she look the same? Did she look like her olive oil years?
Well, no, and Dr. Phil shouldn't have been interviewing her at this point. She wasn't well.
Did she live in squalor?
I believe she did. Yeah, I believe she did in there.
I think she's doing a little better now.
Wasn't she mentally messed up from doing The Shining?
I would venture, I don't know this for sure, but I would venture to guess that if there are mental problems, they were there before she did that movie.
Well,
Red Rum.
I used to watch Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater.
Yeah, that was after The Shining.
Oh, okay. So then Riley goes to Cooper, and she's like, listen, Cooper, I know you're mad at me, but I know who hurt Chloe, and I'm in danger. And she says, my stepmom did it, and I need a ride to Chicago.
You're in danger, girl.
So then then Riley goes to an apartment, and I guess it's supposed to be a bad neighborhood. And this woman answers the door, and she's very frazzled.
Yeah.
And we find out that she's Tom's widow.
Tim.
Oh, Tim's widow.
It's like a motel she's in, right?
Yeah.
No, I think it's just an apartment building.
And it was supposed to be bad, but it didn't look that bad.
I mean, bad compared to they probably had a house before.
Oh, true. And so then she shows the wife a picture, and the wife is like, oh, that's Mallory Rivers. She killed my husband.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Mallory was having an affair with her husband. And what happened is the woman and her husband switched cars that day. And so Mallory had messed with the brakes. And so what was meant to kill her actually killed her husband.
Right. The wife is Sarah, by the way. So yeah, Mallory was trying to kill Sarah, but accidentally killed Tim. But because he was driving so fast and erratically, they deemed it a suicide.
And then I wrote here that the wife went to the Park Ranger School of Acting.
Oh, really?
That's not possible. This trail's been closed for 8 years. It's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, she was definitely an A student at the Park Ranger School. And then Riley finally realizes, oh my gosh, she wanted me to make the team. And then that way, if I would make the team, then I wouldn't want to move back to Chicago. I wouldn't want to move back to the city.
This is a pretty elaborate plan to not move back. It's like, all right, I'm going to make sure she gets on this team. And that's going to ensure that we never go anywhere. Like, just buy her something expensive.
Right. So then she goes to her dad. She goes to Coke Dad. And she's like, Dad, okay, Amanda's a fake. This is what's going on. And the dad basically gaslights her.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you okay? What's going on with you? And then you could tell the dad is, what did we say the opposite of dickmatized was?
Opposite of dickmatized?
Vagina? Somebody came up with it.
Vaginatized?
One of our listeners came up with it.
Listeners, can you tell us again?
We forget.
We've forgotten this like 5 times. You just need to write it down somewhere.
Yes. No, I'm going to write it down next time.
Oh, I think it was clipmatized.
Yeah.
Was it clipmatized?
Maybe.
Was it?
Sounds good.
All right, it is for now.
It is for now. Well, that's what happened to the dad, because the dad went and he sung like a canary and told Amanda everything.
Dumbass.
What'd you say?
So, your daughter says, my life is at risk, and I think my stepmother is trying to kill me. And he goes to her and says, our daughter thinks you're trying to kill.
I got Amanda other ways she could have stayed in that area. Amanda should have ran for mayor and won. And then she said, well, I guess we got to stay here now.
Yeah. Because that wouldn't make the news.
Or Amanda, she was at that school so much, she could have just become... what I thought initially, I thought Amanda was going to try to, kill the cheer coach.
Right.
Yeah.
And take her out and then take over. Because in that way, then she'd be like, honey, I can't move. I have a job. I'm cheering the team.
Yeah.
And then if she took over for cheer coach, then she made sure that Riley got on the team. Nepotism.
She could dig a giant moat around the town, like the outskirts of the town, so there's no way anybody can get out. There's no airport.
Well,
she
could open her own film studio. She's got all that editing equipment and the green screen and all the crews and stuff. She really does. She has so many job options there.
Shipping a pile of sand. You could do Dune Part 3 in her backyard.
Oh, by the way, when Coke Dad told Amanda that the daughter thought that she was trying to kill her, Amanda says, "Oh, well, I hope she's not on something."
Yeah, that was good deflecting, by the way.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like Coke.
So the dad is so dumb. So it's like you basically set your daughter up to have a problem, because then Riley's sleeping in her bed, minding her own business, and she wakes up and Denise is looking over her, and Denise is like, "You ungrateful little bitch."
Yeah, that's unnerving when you wake up with somebody looking over you.
Yeah. I love it. "You ungrateful little bitch. I was trying to help you." It totally like threatens her. And then Riley, the next day, Riley is telling Cooper and Blair what happened. And Blair is like, "Listen, this is what you need to do. You need to go through her GPS history." And then Blair is like, so she's like, "Okay, so you go through her GPS history, and since I'm the brainy friend, I'm going to look into the video and see what happened." So then Amanda's going out for a jog. And as Amanda jogs away, Cooper and Riley then go and start going through her car in the garage. Mm-hmm. But then, and this happens to me all the time when I'm jogging, her music starts malfunctioning, and so she goes to get different earbuds. So she goes back into the garage while Riley and Cooper are in there, but they hid pretty successfully. Because then Amanda didn't find them. So then Amanda goes running away, and then Cooper and Riley find an address, and it's the address to the psychiatrist, who then I noticed the psychiatrist was actually kind of cute.
Yeah. He looked familiar.
Yeah, he looked very familiar. So then Riley goes to the therapist, and she's like, "Listen, my stepmom is trying to kill me, and she's doing all this stuff." And then she shows the therapist a picture, and the therapist is like, "I can't discuss this," which basically is a yes. And then Riley goes into his drawer, right? Because then he finds the prescription pads. Who finds?
He did. They say that to him, he starts doing the math in his head. Like, I think he realized he was missing some of the scripts. So he goes in and is looking at his pad, and they sort of follow him in and berate him again.
Oh, he says he's got to call security on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Does that building really look like it has security?
No.
No. It looked like a warehouse. And so he kept on saying, "I can't tell you anything." And then Riley's like, "You're protecting a killer." And so then they go look at more GPS history. And so this is where they're standing outside. Cooper gets hit on the head, and then
with a wrench.
Denise puts,
Ow.
And then Denise, as she's wearing a pair of cool sunglasses, then puts the chloroform over Riley's mouth.
Okay, yeah, I missed that moment, that beat.
So then we're at the beginning of the movie where she's dragging Riley into the cabin.
Yeah.
And then we see Blair, and Blair is Googling, and then...
Well, we see Blair Googling, and Coke Dad is cokedly calling everyone, trying to figure out where his wife and his daughter are.
Yeah. Then he calls Blair, and then Blair tells Blair's like, "Listen, Mr. Coke, your daughter, your daughter's in trouble, and your wife is a psycho." So then Cooper then texts Blair, and so Blair knows that Cooper's been hit in the head, and so they track Riley on her phone. So I guess they had like a Find my friend.
Well, yeah. Blair went on a website and just like typed in the phone number as if that's how the tracking works, but whatever. So it finds out where Blair is, tells Coke Dad. Coke Dad runs out like he's gonna go find him, even though she's like, call the police, but he doesn't. He runs outside. Detective Sanchez is there, about to arrest Riley. And then because of the handwriting on the note, and then he looks at it, he's like, that's my wife's handwriting. And he just leaves, and she doesn't even seem confused by it.
Because Detective Sanchez is like, your daughter left a threatening note on my car.
Yeah. He just bounces and doesn't say anything. And she's like, all right, okay.
Right.
So we're back at the point where she's pouring the gasoline too, right?
Now we are, yeah.
And then Blair wakes up.
Yeah.
I mean, not Blair. Riley wakes up. Then Denise. Then this is where Amanda's like, you know what? I would have gotten away with this if it wasn't for you. And I tried to do this to help you, you idiot.
Well, she says, if you were a little better at cheerleading,
yes,
we wouldn't have to have done this.
My evil plan hinges on your cheerleading abilities.
Your journeyman cheerleading really fucked us up.
So then Riley actually gets away. Or she gets her hands undone.
Hands free from the rope, and she pounces and jumps Amanda Mallory, and a fight ensues.
Yes.
Before Amanda is able to light the lighter.
Right. And then then Coke Dad shows up.
Although not very urgently. There wasn't like a real pep in his step, as like he pulled him very casually and just kind of gets out and just kind of looking around.
All of a sudden he's calmed down.
The Coke is wearing off. At the one point he needs it.
But then Amanda gets in the car and she drives away, but the police catch her. And then what did she say? Like, I guess not she said something.
I don't think it was the Sanchez that said it. I think it was Mallory said, like, there goes my plan or something like that. But,
yeah, it was like something like that.
Yeah. And she just immediately gives up.
Again.
She immediately puts up her hands and surrenders. After all of these wild schemes, she's like, okay, I don't have any more in me. I'm done.
Right? She's like, I can't compete with like a full firing squad.
Yeah.
I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
It's like that Warner Brothers cartoon. She clocks out.
This detective, yeah. This detective is doing such a solid Max from Heart to Heart impression. How am I supposed to fight that?
No.
So then we cut to cheerleading auditions, and I'm like, did they cut the poor girl slack? Nope. They made her still audition anyway.
Well, and now Chloe's back in a full cast or whatever in her cheer uniform. Like, this had to have been several weeks later.
Yes.
These cheerleading auditions are still going on.
And then all the girls that were kicked off were back.
At this point, school's got to be over. So are they cheerleading like in the middle of August to like the guy who's mowing the lawn?
Yeah.
Or what? What's going on?
But everybody's back. All the girls that were set up for drugs were back. Chloe's back. Everyone's back. And they're making Riley, and Riley's been auditioning by herself.
Yeah.
And then she got on the team.
Well, that's what you have to do if you have an SNL audition. You gotta
I was like, damn. I was like, there is no like, hey, thank you for unsolving the mystery and getting us back on the team and getting us unsuspended. You know what we'll do? We'll give you a spot because you've been working very hard and you did save our asses.
Well, in appreciation, they made her president of the pep club. So that's nice.
But no, she got on the team. And that's the end. And I found this movie very enjoyable.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. It was dumb, but I enjoyed it.
I want to see more Psycho Denise Richards movies.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that Denise Richards has a lot of like psycho.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. I'm not saying.
Pardon?
Well, I'm trying to be kind. Denise Williams may have been exposed to a couple.
Not Denise Williams.
Denise, who are we talking about? Denise Richards.
Yeah,
Denise Williams. Wait, Denise, is she the one that sings "Let's Hear It for the Boy"?
Yeah, she's a singer. She sings the theme song
from Family Ties.
Family Ties.
Yeah,
she does.
Yeah, her and Johnny Mathis.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yes,
what you do,
Denise Williams
baby?
That's her.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never knew that. Oh my God, this is a revelation to me.
See, now you like her.
I didn't say it like her.
Maybe you can get a tramp stamp of Denise Williams on your back.
Oh my God. Well, she's got some credibility.
Baby.
I never knew that. Did you know? You know what else I learned this week? Sammy Davis Jr.'s grandmother lived to be 112. And the story is that he made a deal with the devil, because I did hear Sammy Davis Jr. worship the devil. So he made a deal with the devil, and part of the deal was that his grandmother would never die. So she outlived him. She's one of the oldest people like ever.
But she died.
Yeah.
Well,
and I would also imagine that maybe, given the time that he was famous, that the talk of he made a deal with the devil might have just been some racism.
Right.
No, I've heard some other things. I heard other stories. Well, how is that racist? Wait, how is it racist?
Because you want a black person to seem scary, so you associate them with scary things.
Oh.
And he was like, and especially who he ran around, because he was part of the Sinatra gang.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he didn't, but there's pictures of him with LeVar Burton, or what's the guy's name? Levon, the guy who wrote the Satanic Bible. There were like pictures of him with the back.
Oh, really?
Guy. And Eddie Murphy said when he met Sammy Davis Jr., Sammy was like, "Hey Eddie, you gotta get into the devil." And he's like, "I'm not getting into the devil."
Wait, Eddie Murphy said that?
It's on that Jerry Seinfeld, comedians and cars. That thing. He tells a story about when he met Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, see, now
he's into the devil.
Thank you. So Kurt, you just sold. You're like a commercial, because now I want to watch that show.
So I don't know if it was
I
racism.
thought Sammy Davis Jr. was Jewish.
He is.
Well,
was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he dabbled in religions.
Well, I don't know if he obviously he didn't make an actual deal with the devil. I don't think that's something that one can actually do. But that's just, so I think that might be, I may have read
a colorful way of saying his interests.
I may have read this on Queera or one of those weird sites.
Oh yeah,
that I get sucked into. But I did read that, and that's just what the legend is. But his grandmother did live to be 112.
Well, now I am going to still watch comedians and cars to find out.
Yeah, babe. That's a weak Sammy Davis impersonation.
But yes, so I guess this week is Hallmark week.
Yeah.
Oh, cheer up. Might be something.
By the way,
It's always hard to go back to Hallmark after we see like a good bonkers movie.
You don't have to.
What did you want to say? Jason,
I was just going to say your weak Sammy Davis Jr. sounds a little bit like a Dennis Miller impersonation.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
babe.
it does kind of, yeah.
Who I guess is kind of impersonating Sammy when he does that thing anyway.
Yeah, babe. Yeah.
I guess we could watch another Bonkers Lifetime. Bonkers Lifetime movies fill my heart with joy.
Dennis Miller, I used to like Dennis Miller years ago. He said he went to the Deep South and he went to see the Cannonball Run 2, and at the end of the movie, the audience broke into individual discussion groups. Just trying to get through that. You don't think that's funny? Trying to work through that clever Reynolds subtext, and the reoccurring use of Dom DeLuise as the Christ figure.
Dom DeLuise.
Dennis Miller routine. I can't take credit for that. All right.
Anyway.
Yes.
If you want to find me, you can find me on my website, leskirkendallbarrett.com. And I have something coming up, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say anything yet. So I'll just wait until next week. Jason.
Please rate and review us wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us 5 stars. It helps more people find the show. You can find all of us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
I am Kurt Fitzpatrick. I'm going to be doing my solo show, The Jester of All Maladies, at the very first Green Bay Fringe Festival. And here's when it is. It's going to be a Saturday, July 20th. I'll be doing a show at 4 o'clock and 8:30, and then Sunday, July 21st at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh my God, they're working you really hard.
And more information. Well, 3 shows in there.
In 2 days.
Yeah. I'll be performing at the place I'm performing at. The venue is called the Brown County Democrats Offices. It's okay.
Okay.
Go,
All
Kurt.
right. And yeah, so.
Oh, and the
I
Shelf
guess
Shedding
that's
Movie
it.
Podcast.
The shelf shedding.
Yeah, you can still listen to that.
The shelf shedding show.
Movie. Yeah.
What movie are you guys talking about?
Well, no, you could go back and listen to the Oscar episodes and some other previous episodes that we did.
All right. Well, anyway, I am starving, so I'm going to go. So we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.